if you don't have a vision and you don't strive to achieve your vision, or you don't have any vision, somebody else is going to take you and use for his or her vision. In other words, you are going to be used in the play of sort of of other person.
Yes.
So somebody said this world or your life is like you are an actor in your own. So you don't have to be what you call an extra in your own film. You must be a protagonist.
Yes.
Steering.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I see I'm steering. Once you allow yourself to be an extra in your own play, nothing is going to be fruitful for you. Because you are always looking around. In one of the books I talk about, I usually like these animals on the TV, these shows.
Yeah. About Animal Planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you see a lion or a leopard is chasing after an antelope, what the lion does, it focuses on the goal.
Yeah.
And the goal is the antelope.
Yeah.
Even if another antelope can spring up somewhere while the lion is in action chasing this, it's not going to stop and chase another one. It's going to focus on this. So this is what is happening. Yeah. We don't focus on what we want to achieve.
Yes.
We look at it and also look sideways, thinking about what people are going to say. So that is the main thing. Wow. That is the main thing.
We're continuing with our quest to educate and to empower. And today is no different. We have a guest who is going to assist us to build the great version of who you can become. Please click on the link below so that you can subscribe, because our growth depends on the support that we receive from you. On this episode, our guest is Zenzele Mazibuko. As the name says, Iketsetse. And Ntate Mazibuko is one of those people who has taken it upon himself to do things for himself, but also for the community. He is a principal. He is also an author. But most importantly, he leads the administration of Ekurhuleni authors. Welcome, Ntate Mazibuko, into this conversation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hlalele. I'm honored to be on this program.
And how has it been, this journey that you are traveling? I mean, you wear many hats, a principal, an author, a community worker, and we are excited that we are going to unpack that. But maybe before we can get into that space, who is Zenzele Mazibuko? Where did you grow up? What experiences shaped the person that you are today?
Thank you for the opportunity. Zenzele Mazibuko is a guy who was born in KZN, Newcastle to be exact. I grew up on a farm, and I'm the 10th child in my family, the last born.
Jersey number 10.
Jersey number 10.
Yeah.
So I grew up in KZN. I studied there. My primary education and the secondary education. But in 1985, I moved to Joburg, to Katlehong to be specific. And I applied to be trained as a teacher at a college called Katoras College. It is now defunct. It's no more there. So I trained there, and I started teaching in 1989 in Tembisa. It's a school called Isagelo Primary School. That is where I started the journey of teaching. So that is who I am in terms of my career. But in terms of a person, just as a family, I'm a family person. I've got a daughter and 2 sons who are now adults. So thank God that we are at this point in time, they are grown up, and that is who I am.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. But that's very, very interesting. And that you say now your children have grown up. And I've heard TD Jakes one day saying that as you grow older, your kids start to raise you. So on the tables turn, you know, that role reversal. So if you look at your journey, when you started teaching in 1985, 89, so to say,
Yes.
how did you land up in the teaching profession? Do you still remember? What are some of the influencing factors?
Yes, I do remember, because when I was still young, as a primary school kid, I think there was a sense of being a teacher while I was still young, because I used to teach other children who were my peers at the time, and I used to teach them poetry. I could compose poems, simple poems, and teach them to recite those poems. So teaching, I think it was in my blood at an early age. So when I grew up, although I did not specifically want to become a teacher specifically, but teaching was one of the three things that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a teacher, if not a teacher, a pastor, if not a pastor, a DJ, because I liked radio a lot. I used to listen to radio even at night. I used to listen to the radio.
Wow.
So those were my three careers that I liked most. So if you look at all of them, they are in the communication business.
Yes.
So I think they are interrelated. Currently, I'm also working for the radio station. I am a teacher, and the church also molded me to become what I am, because I used to be a very shy person.
Okay.
But when I went to church growing up, they used to give me the role of being an MC. So that really helped me to become more outspoken, so that I could not be afraid of the people. So the church also played a meaningful role in my upbringing to become who I am today. Yes.
Wow. So it's very, very important when you say the church, because I always believe that we are a product of our circumstances to a certain extent, because at the end of the day you still have got to make decisions even when you are exposed to certain circumstances. But environments like the church, family, all of those play a significant role. And I understand that you developed the passion whilst you were young, who teach other learners at school. But when you go back to your family, was there somebody, your father, great-grandfather, your grandmother, who might have influenced, or maybe who were in the same profession, or you were one of the first, as most of the black families have many of the firsts?
At home, as I indicated earlier, I'm the last born child in the family, the 10th. And if you are the youngest, there are benefits of being the youngest in the family sometimes. Because in the olden days, where we grew up, there were no schools in the vicinity. So my family was living on the farm, and most of my brothers did not go that beyond primary school education. So I was the first to go to the university and the college. I was the first at home. So there was nobody who was an influence in terms of education in my life at home. So I think just I would say the support that I got from my parents and my elder siblings, because they were taking care of the young one. Also, it inspired me to go further than they had gone in terms of education. So there was no one in the family at that time who had reached a university, even matric, who had passed matric. So I was the first one at home.
Wow.
So, but their support inspired me to link with others and to see the brighter side of life, and to go on pursuing the educational, I objectives in my life.
Wow, wow. So then you find yourself in the teaching profession, 1989 until now.
Yes.
Yeah, it is quite a long time, because not many people stay in professions for such a long time. I'm one of those. I went to teach in 95, 97. I was out of a high school, but I went to teach in a correctional facility, but also for another 2 years. So when you look at this whole time, my math is not good. I don't know how many years are those, but let's say it's about 30 years that you have been a teacher. What kept you stuck and contributing to this profession?
What kept me going from 1989 until today in the teaching profession is the love, the passion for the profession, especially for the children that we are taking care of. So it's joy. It gives one pleasure to see a learner who has gone through through your system, through the system of your education, your influence as a teacher, becoming something in life. So it has kept me going. The love and the joy of seeing a transition from being young or from being ignorant to being knowledgeable in terms of education and in life in general.
Wow.
So that's the love for the kids, love for transforming the lives of people.
Wow.
Even the society that we live in.
So from 1989, let's say, until 1994, that was a different phase. 85, the height of politics. COSATU was formed in 1985, and the riots were just getting to a different space. And then you go in beyond 1994, and now you also have got young people coming into the system. How would you contrast your profession in these two phases? They might be three, but maybe if we can just stick into these phases. I was like teaching from 85 at the height of apartheid until the end of 1994 and beyond 94 up to now.
There has been a transition in education. As you indicated that, as I indicated, I started teaching in 1989.
Yes.
The 1989 was the formation of.
I don't know. I'm continuing to say 85. That's when you moved to Tembisa. Yes.
That was the beginning of another phase in education, because I remember in 1989 there was a formation of a union called South African Democratic Teachers Union.
Yes.
But then it was called NUSA. Mm-hmm. That was the first the name that was given to the SATU initially. It was NUSA, and there's a huge difference between that era and now, because there have been so many changes in the education sphere. There has been some currently there's CAPS, the system that is being used. There was another system before that was being used. So as a teacher who has been in the profession for more than 30 years, I've seen some changes in the education sphere. And also so many things have changed. Even the caliber of the teachers that get into the profession is no longer the same as previously. Maybe it's due to the unionization, because I talked about unions. Yeah. I also talk about the new democratic situation in the country. Remember that before 1994, there was another era, apartheid era. But after that, there is the constitution of South Africa, where all other constitutions are aligned to. So there's been changes, and we had to adapt. We're still adapting. It's evolving. Education sector is evolving. So there are so many things that are not the same as before. Okay. As I told you, the teachers who have come on board are no longer the same. There's a slight difference. To the
better, or it has regressed?
I wouldn't say it has regressed, or it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you look at the way in terms of the dedication, it has regressed.
Yes.
Because in the olden times, teachers were doing all sorts of things that were handed to them by the education sector. If you get into the school and you are a new teacher, you are just told that you are going to do ABC. And now there are rights, and a person can say, no, I can't do this. I must go, I'm going to report you to the union,
Yeah.
etc. So that those slight changes in terms of how we behave. But it's not for the West. I think it's also, there are some positives in terms of how teachers behave and how learners behave. Although the learners have taken to the, I wouldn't say it's for the better. It seems as if it's for the worse in terms of discipline.
Yes.
Currently, there are so many things that are happening in schools in terms of discipline. They beat teachers, they are indisciplined, some of them. Maybe, I don't know whether the the corporal punishment has an influence. I don't know. And you know, when we grew up, we were being punished.
Yes.
But in those days, there was a thin line between being disciplined and being abused. Because some teachers, they went overboard.
Yes.
They would really abuse you, beat you like nothing, I don't know what. So those are some of the changes that we are still adapting today. There are positives and there are also negatives in terms of the education sector.
But now, as a leader within that environment, is there a way in which the department supports and prepares you to, and when I say you, I'm saying the cohort of leadership, to adjust to the new challenges, challenges of inspiring teachers, motivating them to align with the vision, but also the learners, because I know one of the learners, it's a bit difficult because there's also families and stuff involved, you know. I always say schools, yes, they play an important part, but they are not the panacea for the shortcomings of families. But in a nutshell, does the department support you in different ways?
I would say the department does support us, although it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough because of the magnitude of the myriad of problems that we face, challenges that we face. But they are trying to support us in various ways. In the olden days, there was no support in terms of mental well-being.
Yes.
So currently in the education sector, there is that support. If you have got some challenges, could it be family-wise, personal-wise, there is a wellness program for teachers that they can go and get support from. So there are structures, even how to deal with learners. We do get support in terms of workshops, trainings, because currently we were given a booklet on what would I say, alternatives to corporal punishment.
Okay.
Yeah, there are alternatives. You don't have to beat children because it is really an outlawed. It's unlawful. It's criminal. It's assault. You can be arrested and you can also lose your job. So we are giving this alternative to corporal punishment, that if you have a problem with a child, this is how you can go about assisting the child to do the right thing. So we do have support, but I would say it's not enough. I don't know what can be done to eliminate, because every week, every month, there's something that happens in another school.
Yes.
A learner is bullied by other learners. When teachers try to intervene, sometimes it's a problem. Sometimes teachers abuse learners. Sometimes learners hit teachers. So we grew up knowing that even biblically, indugu yayimbulala umntwana.
Yes.
Yeah, biblically kusho kanjalo. But spare the rod and spoil the child.
Exactly.
Yeah, but as I indicated earlier, some of the teachers went overboard. I cannot forget some of the teachers, how they punished us. You'll never forget. Even maybe you, Mr. Thalel, you can also pinpoint, remember one teacher who really was really bad news when it comes to the classroom for you in terms of corporal punishment. So support is there, but I think more needs to be done to support teachers.
I remember on this platform, I think we were talking about it, and I said, I believe, just like you, that there's a space for discipline, but also arguing that corporal punishment in the past was the only thing that got the child to toe the line. It's not a good reflection, because there was families, there was churches, Sunday schools, all of those things play a significant role. So I can only say, really, the teachers are doing quite a great job, and more support is needed. And the support does not only come from the department, it should also come from families, because when my child goes into a school and they misbehave, it's a reflection of, in most cases, the families where we come from.
Yes.
So your role is not only that of a teacher. You teach in different ways. Like you say, you wanted to be a teacher or a pastor or a DJ. And you nicely indicated the common thread, which is around communication. But I would also say there's a common thread of education in all of them.
Yes.
So how did you end up writing books? Maybe if you can just high level tell us of the other two roles that you play. I think you are an author. You also play a critical role in communities, because you are an author of the book Voices from the Storm, Learning from the Best, and Cornerstones of Greatness. Wow. And I see there's also a reference to Matthew 18:1-4 on the cornerstone for greatness. But in a nutshell, where did this love for writing come about?
No, the love for writing started in the primary school. When I was writing, we say, compositions, the teacher, English teacher, used to encourage me that I was writing very beautiful, not short stories, composition.
Yes.
So I used to write, and I was very creative. I was very creative when I was in the primary school. So it started there, writing a very beautiful composition. So when I got into high school, not high school, college, I started writing short stories, isiZulu short stories.
Okay.
Those short stories were not published. I wrote them in the 1980, maybe 1989, 1990, okay, when I started teaching. But those stories were never published. And I was worried when I got older that I have written something, but it has never been published.
Yes, yes.
So I started collaborating with other people, meeting other people who were writers, who had a passion for writing. And we came up together and talked about how can we assist people. Because there are so many people who were like me, who had written something, but it was staying there, just never seen the light of day. So in order to establish, or in order to inspire or promote reading and writing, that is where I started meeting other people, and I wrote these 3 books. I started in, the first one was written in 19...
Which one is the first?
The first one is Cornerstones of Greatness.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it was the first published. I wrote it in, it's 2000 and, is it 15 or 16? Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote that one. And the second one was two years later, and the last one, the second one is Voices from the Storms.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the last one is Learning from the Best, which was written during COVID-19.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
in 2020. Yeah, those are the 3 books. That is how the love for writing
Yeah.
came up from me. It started at the primary school, and I would say that fire was lit in the primary school. So I just grew, and ultimately I wrote these books.
So it might sound as cliche from my side, but I always say if you've got a burning desire inside of you, you would hardly suppress it. Imagine if this fire, you let it die at a young age. Probably somebody could not be benefiting from reading these books, you know, and the fact that you took it out of you to put it on paper and share with the world, probably it definitely is benefiting someone, and it will continue to benefit someone. So at high level, I see the titles: Learning from the Best, Voices from the Storm, Cornerstones of Greatness. If you were to summarize the genre of books that you write, what message are you trying to convey to the reader?
The message that I want to convey to the reader, the common thread in all these 3 books, is that you can become the best version of yourself. Yeah. In whatever circumstances, you can become the best version of yourself. So that is the common thread, because most of the time we don't live up to what we were born to be. Somebody said the richest place in the world is a cemetery, where there are books that were never published, there were songs that were never sung, there were plays that were never done there, because people go to their graves without unleashing or without realizing what they came here for. So the common thread is that whatever you are, you can be the better or the best version of yourself, no matter what. Yes, there are circumstances that might disturb one in one's vision, but despite that, some of those challenges that come, they might be sort of helping you to the right direction. Because some will say some challenges, we view challenges as in a negative light most of the time. But in these books, I say there are challenges, but those challenges can be used if you apply the correct mindset. Those challenges, whatever, as long as you are still alive, those challenges can be used to propel you to the greater heights, to the best version of yourself.
Okay. So I would like to read something at the back of this book and connect to something that you said. There's a portion where you say, and this is from Cornerstones of Greatness. What is greatness? Some experts say that greatness is about helping other people to succeed. It also involves working behind the scenes to make others succeed, leaving a legacy for generations to come, and accomplishing one's purpose on earth despite all the odds. So the part that I like is towards the end, despite all the odds, because it says to me there is no path that is to success that is straight. You will meet challenges, you will meet experiences, and you have mentioned that there are certain things that might happen. But what I would like you to assist us in your experience, based on you growing up, you being a teacher, the roles that you play, what do you think are some of the experiences, thought patterns that affect people to reach their own greatness? If you were to give us maybe 1 or 2.
The most common obstacle, I would regard it as an obstacle, that impedes one to reach one's destiny, is thinking about other people in terms of what are they going to think about this. So we focus on other people instead of focusing on ourselves in terms of the vision. So everybody is here for a purpose. That is my belief. So everybody has been given a task to accomplish. So the main problem is that I've been given this task to develop, or rather to pursue this goal. And while on this journey to achieve whatever I want to achieve, I look around and look at other people while they are doing their own things. and I get sidetracked, and I say, hey, this my vision, it seems as if it's not as good as somebody else's,
Yes,
or my vision or my goal. I think it's not, people are going to laugh what I'm dreaming about. It's better if I could take somebody else and follow his or her dream. So that's a main problem, that we focus on other people's visions and dreams. Somebody said, if you don't have a vision and you don't strive to achieve your vision, or you don't have any vision, somebody else is going to take you and use for his or her vision. In other words, you are going to be used in the play of sort of of other person.
Yes.
So somebody said, this world or this your life is like you are an actor in your own. So you don't have to be what you call an extra in your own film. You must be a protagonist.
Yes.
Ube staring,
Yeah.
but most of the time, I see I'm staring. Once you allow yourself to be an extra in your own play, nothing is going to be fruitful for you, because you are always looking around. In one of the books I talk about, I usually like these animals on the TV, these shows.
Yeah. About Animal Planet.
Yes. When you see a lion or a leopard is chasing after an antelope, what the lion does, it focuses on the goal, and the goal is the antelope.
Yeah.
Even if another antelope can spring up somewhere while the lion is in action chasing this, it's not going to stop and chase another one. It's going to focus on the. So this is what is happening. We don't focus on what we want to achieve.
Yes.
We look at it and also look sideways, thinking about what people are going to say. So that is the main thing. That is the main thing.
You know, you remind me of one of the authors and teachers I follow and love is Robin Sharma. He says, as people, we are addicted to distraction. And the example that you're giving in terms of the lion chasing the antelope and then not looking at another, it's a demonstration of not being addicted to distraction, because the lion knows that this is my goal and I'm going after this goal.
Yes.
So thanks for unpacking that for us. I really agree with that people are concerned about people who actually are not even concerned about them. If most people can get to know that truth, they will then be liberated. Voices from the Storm. It says this book explores the attitude that separates winners from losers. In every person's life, there is a time when every resource we have is tested. And during that time, life, or God himself, seems to be unfair. It is a time when our patience, our compassion, our faith, our values, and our ability to persist are all pushed to our limits and beyond. And I like the depiction. There's an eagle there. What is this book all about?
This book is about life. Life is not a bed of roses. Life is not a straight line. It has got some detours. It has got its ups and downs. It has got some mountains and valleys. So, Voices from the Storms, most of the time, I wrote this book because at the time when there were so many research, there was a research about people who committing suicide, people doing all sorts of things. Even if you could look at the research currently, so many people are being abused every day. I don't know, women, GPV, also in a day, or it's counted in seconds, in minutes. That in a minute, so many women are. So I wrote this book during the time when there were some upheavals here and there in terms of people committing suicide, even rich people, because some people think that if you are rich, you don't have to do all sorts of things because you have everything. And I know from life, from life lessons, that money is not everything.
Correct. Yeah.
You can have all the what you have, all the wealth in the world, but if you are not happy, if there could be something that can trigger you to maybe to do something that is. So this book is about that, voices from the storms. So the storms of life. Sometimes people get into depression, stress, some problems. Yeah. In this book, I'm talking about that three things that people can encounter in terms of problems. There are problems that can be created by one. A person can create a problem, self-inflicted problems.
Yes.
There are other problems that are inflicted by other people. They come from outside. Another person can do something to you. And there is another one, which is, I regard it as fate.
Yeah.
You cannot run away from it. Just like the example is the story of Job in the Bible. An upright man who was doing everything well in the sight of God. But everything collapsed. Lost his family, his children died, his wealth, he lost everything. And he had done nothing. So that is fate. So it's about those three things. So and also, what do you do in times of trouble?
Yes.
There's sort of some sections that talk about what you should do, because sometimes we blame God. We blame God. Where was
Why
God?
me?
Why me?
Yes.
So there are some chapters that if you get into trouble, you get into a situation where you lose, I think you lose joy. You find life unbearable.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that you should do, although it's not easy. I hear people say, when life gives you lemons, turn it into a lemonade. As if it's not easy. It's not easy.
Whenever, it's not a juicer.
Yeah.
And then you just
whenever you face such problems, you forget about all those things.
True.
Because you seem to be the only one who is facing it. The other people are not facing it in the world.
Yes.
So they say people, no, you are not the first one.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as that.
Correct.
Anybody who has gone through tough times will attest to this. That whenever you are in a corner somewhere having some family problems, financial problems, any problems that is stressing you, sometimes you think as if the whole world has turned against you. Everybody is talking about you. When you see people gathering somewhere, you think, hey, they're talking about me. All those things.
Yes.
So that is the situation. There are some tips on what to do, like you must have a stronghold. You must have a higher power.
Yes.
God. Some people believe in God. Some others believe in ancestors. No, my father who died some years back is going to help. It doesn't matter. Whatever you believe in, you must have a stronghold that whatever you're going through, it's going to pass. Even biblically, some biblical characters went through difficult times, but at the end, something good happened. So this is all about. It's about the voices from the storms. As there's an eagle. An eagle. One of the stories that are being told about the eagles. It is said that the eagle likes the storms. Whenever there's a storm, the eagle does not run away. Other birds, they hide, they run away, but the eagle faces the storm. It flies to the storm because the storm helps it to soar. It does not use so much energy when it is facing the. So it takes the storm as an advantage. So to us, although storms are not nice, but in hindsight, sometimes you need to take those storms as an uplifting force, something that is going to drive us to greater heights. Although, I repeat, it's not easy. It's
and
not
it was
easy.
never meant to be easy.
It's not. And anybody who is going through such, you must really have an ear, and try to encourage that person. They say you empathize.
Yes.
Yeah, don't say, no, man, man up, man.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
hayi into encane le.
Yeah.
Hayi akusona oqala ubani bani. It's not just like this.
Yes. And I hear this a lot on radio stations where people say, I just may not be strong, you know. But that's why we've got such platforms to help educate, so that people can suspend their own frame of reference and understand where the other person is coming from. So, lastly, before I jump into another thing, learning from the best. I mean, it seems self-explanatory. But it says, you reference the book of Job, chapter 12, verse 7. But ask the beasts, and they will teach you, the birds of the heavens, and they will tell you. What a metaphor. From the tiniest ant to the sidewalk, on the sidewalk to the gigantic elephant, animals of all kinds can teach us valuable life lessons. And you have already made an example with the lion. So when you say learn from the best, is it because your path to where you are comes from you observing and learning from others, or where does it come from?
It's a combination. In life, we don't learn from one dimension. If you are open-minded, you learn from everything that happens in the world. You can learn from a child.
Yeah.
You can learn from an adult. You can learn from a drunkard. You can learn from somebody you might be despising. You may learn from the birds, a dog, a hen. So this book, it was inspired by during the hard lockdown. You remember we were not even allowed to walk in the streets.
Yes,
You were just at home, sitting at home. So I looked around and I saw birds flying freely, and that reminded me that verse, that you can learn from the beasts, from the animals.
Yeah.
So here I'm profiling different animals that you can learn from. As I indicated, that we learn from everything if you are open-minded.
Yes.
You can learn from one of the animals that I'm profiling here is the eagle. I've already talked about the eagle.
Yeah.
That there are so many. I also talk about the hen. There's something that you can learn from a hen.
As in Nando's.
Yes.
The chicky.
A chicken.
yeah.
And then lays the eggs, and she sits on the eggs for several weeks before they hatch. So that shows some discipline. Some people cannot wait to achieve their dream. These days we want something instant. So you can learn from a hen. A hen has got that discipline, sitting on the eggs for days, fighting for the eggs not to be destroyed.
Yes.
As I indicated earlier, I grew up on a farm. At home there was a big kraal which was made of stones. We had cattle. So snakes were a usual occurrence.
Yeah.
You would see them sometimes. Wake up in the morning, you see a snake in the house. So one day I saw something that I'll never forget. When I went out near the kraal, there was a hen that was incubating. It was sitting on her eggs. So what do you call it? The hen was dead when I got there. Only to find out that it had been bitten by a snake. So why did this hen not run away? So it taught me something, that this hen was protecting the eggs.
Yes.
She rather died than leave the goal or the vision. So it's something like that. So a hen, you can learn something from. If you're a person and you have got a goal in life, you want to achieve something, you must be jealous about your goal. Because if you allow people to distract you from your goal, who is the loser there? You are the loser. It's not them.
Yes.
So if you don't fight for your dream, whatever you start, whatever you want to achieve, you must be focused and fight for it. There are going to be distractions. There are going to be some criticism from other people. Other people are going to scoff at your idea. What is he trying to achieve? But if you are resilient in your dream, tenacious in your dream, like a bulldog, you'll succeed. So that is a lesson from a hen. I also talk about an ant. An ant, ants move in groups, so they show us teamwork. Teamwork. So most of us, we want to do things alone. Nobody is an island.
No.
That is not a mistake. That saying is not a mistake. So whatever you do in life, you must have some people of similar vision with you, because you cannot take anybody who's going to have a different idea from yours. Otherwise, your dream is going to die in infancy, because you are associating yourself with other people who don't have the same vision. So whatever you want to do it in a team effort. Teamwork makes dream work. That's what John Maxwell usually says. So those are some of the things. The hen, you learn something. The ant, the butterfly. Butterfly undergoes several stages, metamorphosis. So it starts with an egg, moves to become a pupa. Is it an egg, a larva, or caterpillar, a pupa, then a fully fledged butterfly, which is beautiful. Correct. Sometimes you look at the butterflies and you forget where it started. Just like people. Sometimes we see people who are high flying, people who are doing wonderful things, very successful, and we focus on their success.
Where they are at that moment.
You never look back where they started. When the person comes to you and says, I started there, I went through pain when I was trying to establish this, you wouldn't like to go that route, because you want something that is complete. So that is something that we can learn from a butterfly. Somebody said, we look at the people. There's a saying here, which I like very much about the butterfly. Let me read it here. Maybe it's here. Yeah, I like it. It says, the main challenge with most of us is that we see men who have arrived, and we weigh them in the hour of their triumph. Without taking the trouble to find out how they arrived. It's a quote by Sir Napoleon Hill. So we look at people and we are just impressed. But when that person narrates his story or his story, you'll be surprised.
And there's a lot that you can learn from that journey. The caterpillar, the larva, the caterpillar journey. So this is awesome, and you have helped us, to be honest, to unpack this, because somebody must get the book and read it for himself. So don't give them the whole memorandum. So you are advancing this work in other ways. My understanding is that you invite authors to Kasi FM, you have a conversation about their books. You are also part of Ekurhuleni authors. What does Ekurhuleni authors stand for? What is it that you trying to achieve as this structure?
We are trying to assist the community to develop that, to inculcate that culture of reading and writing. And somebody said, if you want to hide something for a black person, put it in a book. We need to dispel that myth. People must read. People must read. So the aim is to inculcate that culture across the board, from homes to schools and to societies in general. And also write. Those people who have written something, they should not be like us. Write things that are going to stay there for centuries, for decades, without being published. So we're also establishing sort of a network where people must know. In our group, Ekurhuleni authors, they are publishers. So anybody who wants to publish, we can refer them to particular publishers.
Yeah.
So we want to just to establish that culture of reading and writing, people to network and to reach the greater heights. So that is the aim. As you might be aware that recently there was a study, research that was conducted, that grade 4 learners cannot read for meaning. They can read well, but when asked, what are you reading, does this say, they cannot interpret, they cannot answer in all languages. So that culture should be something of the past. If you can collaborate with everybody, parents at home, schools, churches, communities, and it's a campaign that we can fight this war of illiteracy by working together. Let us not just before children go to sleep. I think let us not leave them. Let them go to sleep without reading anything. They can read the Bible aloud. They can read something, a paragraph. Just let it be a routine. For young ones, especially at home, just to develop this culture of reading and writing.
And how much impact do you think you are making in that regard? Because there's so much competition. There's television, there are PlayStations and gadgets for kids, there are Netflix and the like for adults, you know. Do you see you doing and the other colleagues in the Ekurhuleni authors making inroads in trying to change and imbuing this culture of reading?
Yes, we have started in schools. We encourage competitions in schools. Although it's not that widely accepted at the moment, there are some schools that are doing it. There are competitions of writing, poetry competitions, etc. But we need to do more. It needs more support. So that is one of the things that we are advocating as the Ekurhuleni authors. Libraries, they must be, they must have books of South African authors. At schools, learners should read South African authors' books. Not those books that were written centuries back. Abo Shakespeare. Yabona bathi kudala bahamba. Ake qhamuke abantu abasha. Kufundwe incwadi ezibhalwe yithina esikolweni.
It's addressing the current issues.
Yes.
I know there are people who can quote Shakespeare and the like, and I say, what did you say? You know, not to say there was no value in it, but I really hear what you're saying. So this is a good initiative, really. So how does somebody join Ekurhuleni Authors?
Ekurhuleni Authors, it's an organization which is maybe it's 1 year old to 1.5 years old. So you can, unfortunately, we don't have our website at the moment, but we're busy moving towards that. So they can call me on my number. 082 556 2824. 082 556 2824. So that they can link up with other authors and be part of Ekurhuleni Authors. So if you are part of Ekurhuleni Authors, you stand a chance of being invited also to various platforms, because it's not only Kasi FM. There are other initiatives. Maybe authors who are launching their books. There are poetry sessions elsewhere. So many activities around. But currently I'm responsible for inviting people to share about their books on Kasi FM every Wednesday at 7:30. I'm
Yes,
co-hosting.
yes.
I'm alternating with my brother, Mr. Maliban.
Ah, okay. No,
Yes.
that's
Yesterday
that's-
it was him. Next
Yeah.
week
It's you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We alternate. Yes.
Okay, okay. And then one thing that I just wanted to touch on as far as authorship is concerned, I think we have competition, if you like, that comes from technology, in a sense that books are now, you can turn them into e-books, and then before you know it, people have put more effort and energy in writing a book. And then how do I share? But people are making copies. Now there are PDF copies doing the rounds. Is that one of the challenges that you have identified? And if so, do you find it discouraging other people to write, or is it something that you acknowledge and then still encourage people to continue writing?
It's just like in the music business.
Yeah,
you remember the royalties.
Yes, 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 yes.
Just like it's just the same, but we need to develop that culture of tenacity.
Yeah.
Going forward despite and establishing some forms of ways and means of how to deal with such.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, it's something that you cannot avoid.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it's there, but that does not mean that people should stop writing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like it, and I'm asking that question deliberately, going back to what we said about the odds. You know, that in any endeavor that you take, there will be odds. There is always duality.
Yes.
There are good doctors, there are fake doctors. There are good pastors, there are fake pastors. And even in this process, there will be good writers, there will be fake. But in the middle, there are those who want to take advantage of what other people are doing, and we cannot relent and give up just because somebody's going to send to distribute your work unfairly. So I would say I encourage everyone out there to go out and then put their work out there. So besides this work, what is the other work that you are doing for the community, if any?
Besides this, I'm also involved in some charity, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the township, there are, the high rate of unemployment.
Yes.
It's bad, and it's affecting families. So one of the ward councillor of where our school is situated started as a soup kitchen. So I'm also assisting there.
Okay.
So that's just to contribute something.
Yes.
Just for families, those who are less advantaged to benefit in terms of nutrition.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that because, again, I'm reading it. When you say greatness involves working behind the scenes to make others succeed. And Zenzele Mazibuko, I've always believed in the concept that says you identify your purpose, but your purpose will never become more purposeful until it benefits other people. It is not necessarily for you. And I really appreciate the work that you do, and probably somebody at home will appreciate the work that you do, to put knowledge in books, remove it from the head as tacit knowledge into the books so that somebody can benefit out of it. And thanks for giving us time to share your story with us. But we never finish this conversation without giving you an opportunity to say, looking at your life in general, if it was your last wish and we call it Life 101 Lesson, what is that Life 101 lesson that has carried you to where you are today? And if you were to live with someone and that you can share with them?
Keep going. That is
Johnny Walker.
that is the message.
Yeah.
As I indicated earlier, that whatever you want to achieve in life, as long as you are still alive, God still is still with you. Keep going. Don't drop the ball. Don't leave whatever you wanted to finish without finishing it. Just go for it. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Never quit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Until you'll quit when you go to the grave.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
don't, that is my message.
Correct.
Yes, problems will come, but if you are still alive, go forward
Yes.
and achieve your dreams.
There are always two sides to the coin. There are challenges, there are opportunities on the other hand. The unfortunate thing for us, many people in life, is that we want to choose the only buttered side of the bread. And when the challenges come, which are guaranteed, that is not a questionable issue in life, they are going to happen. Who do you become then when you meet the odds of life? And once you go through those storms, it is then that you can be able to define the greatness that is within you. And we have learned through the experience of Zenzele Mazibuko that life is never a straight line between 2 points. And you just have got to identify the strength within you and then be able to help others so that you can change other lives going forward. Until we meet with during the next episode, thank you.